It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies in theaters, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hey, Jim.
Hey, Bryce.
And Murray, who's donning his brand new Thor Love and Thunder shirt.
Thorgasms afoot.
You forgot about my collectible cup.
He does have a... Wow, he's all Thor all the time.
All Thor all the time.
He's got his stoner on.
I have now seen it 4 times.
Holy crap. So with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Oh, thanks to all of them supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, please like, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star rating on your listening platform. Or support us and join the Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/Film Rage YYC. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy a movie rental and dare us to see it, and we will do it. Do it. Now, let's get to raging. But first, here's a word from our sponsor.
Hey, Bryce, what are you doing tonight?
I'm going to my favorite cinema, Canyon Meadows Cinema, to see the best second-run movies at the best price.
What? How inexpensive are they?
Regular price is $5.
Regular price is $5. Makes me hope they also serve pizza.
They do, plus a lot of other great food choices. Plus, I'm planning my office Christmas party there. They can host a plethora of options for any get-together. Gaming, movie, drag show.
Drag show? Now I know where I'm planning my next party.
Hey, maybe you think there's a Liam Neeson or a superhero movie planned?
Ugh, I hope not. But maybe there'll be a great independent documentary.
Sure. Call CMC at 403-670-5444 to book a special event or go online at canyonmeadowscinema.ca.
And I just want to throw a quick plug in for our buddy Paul, who works at Canyon Meadows. Him and his
Escape Fest.
They're showing Battlestar Galactica.
Yes.
If you're in the viewing area, I suggest you go.
Yeah, check out. It's showing on the CMC's website. It's going to be playing this weekend, I believe.
That is correct. Oops. Don't streaming. We don't stream.
Well, we do.
We stream.
We do.
Sometimes we stream. It says so in the introduction.
And it also says, directors and actors, beware.
Yes.
It does say that.
It does say that.
Because, they can't hide from the rage.
Especially your rage.
Why is his rage any worse than yours? I've heard you rage.
You've been raging big
You've
time.
been
I don't
raging.
have as much rage as you do.
It's true.
That's probably
That's
true.
I don't
true.
rage as often as you do.
But you still, when your rage is there, it's pretty. It's pretty raging hard.
It's
It's
intense.
It's
That's
very
right.
rare.
Intense.
It's intensity.
Yeah.
So intense.
And we got to see an intense movie this last weekend.
We did.
We sure did. We saw Bullet Train.
Pew!
Or in Japanese, I believe it's Shinkansen.
Nice. Say that 5 times fast.
Shinkansen.
Don't dare him to do stuff because
That's pretty cool.
Thank you. Bullet Train, directed by action specialist David Leitch, is actually, I think it's Lech. I'm going to go with Lech.
It's got a better name for like making action movies.
Yeah, so Bullet Train, directed by action specialist David Lech, is the story of a former hitman named Ladybug, played by Brad Pitt, who is hired for what seems to be a simple job. Get on a train, grab a briefcase, and get off of said train.
Sounds easy.
Simple. There's only one problem. Make that multiple problems, as the train is full of assassins who seem to all have a backstory that ties them together in various ways, as well as there are many vendettas that need to be settled on this speeding locomotive.
Isn't there always?
Ladybug's simple mission becomes complicated quickly. Everyone seems to be saying that this film is kind of like a Quentin Tarantino or a Guy Ritchie imitation.
Esque.
And yes, I would definitely agree with that. This has elements of both those filmmakers. However, they are saying that as if it's a bad thing. I say it's a good thing. It has the Tarantino-esque flashbacks and the Guy Ritchie pace-changing action sequences, as well as dialogue that would be at home in a film. by either of those directors. And that seems like a good thing to me. The acting is great, and at no point does this film stop and take a breath. This is not a movie that was made for me. At all.
I know.
And yet.
Glad we didn't see it with you then.
And yet,
he says.
I was royally entertained throughout. I loved Bullet Train. It was an action-packed, laugh-out-loud mondo.
Oh, consider me amazed.
You know what? As I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, Bryce is not going to hate this.
Even with all the action-packed action?
Yeah.
Even though
Even
it's
there.
totally the type of movie that Bryce would hate.
There weren't any car chases.
It was just so cleverly written.
Okay, so this is just a really good example, and I don't know why I'm sucking Bryce's dick right now, but this is a really good example of when an action film is made good, it's worth seeing.
Yes.
Now, in my opinion, if Quentin Tarantino, Guy Ritchie, and Takashi Miike made a movie, or should I say, made a movie Sex Baby, it would be called Bullet Train, and the adopted father would be David Lech.
We're going with Lech.
I like Lech. I like him a lot. Brad Pitt has never been funnier and more entertaining. The entire cast was also amazing. The practical effects were gory and bloody and silly and fun for a movie with what has to be the most and best memory flashback montages ever. You know what? I loved every one, especially the Fujiwater memory flashback montage. The writing was funny and clever. The action was over the top and unique. Bullet Train was a ride that I wanted to be on all the way to the last station. I was so invested in Brad Pitt's zen that I didn't hate the terrible accent from Michael Shannon, or the terrible Fast and the Furious type physics, or the fact that although they wrapped up every character, they did not tell me what happened to my current biggest man crush happening today, which is Channing Tate, with his character always wanting to know who was the person on the train for the sex thing. The biggest thing that did not make me happy was the fact that although they tied up every loose end, we never know what happens to Tay-Tay. And more importantly, who was on the train for the sex thing? Although I'm guessing it was Brad Pitt. That's just my guess.
It's a bad guess.
Yeah, it's probably a bad guess because I think he ran into him a couple of times. He's like, who are you? What's the story? But then you never know. Ladybug could have,
I would have guessed Bad Bunny, but he didn't.
Yeah, maybe Bad Bunny.
He didn't really.
Anyway, but he kept asking the guys. So he was on there for the guys.
Bad Bunny was one of the guys.
Yeah, true. Was this action film too long? Yes. Was there things that would not or could not have happened in real life? Well, hell yes. Was there things in this movie that annoyed me? Yes. I believe I already said them, at least some of them. But this was so fun to watch, and the cleverness of a lot of the comedy and action way outdid any of the corny, silly comedy. This is a comic book brought to life based on Kotaro Isaka's book by the same name. This Bullet Train took me on a ride to Osaka and made a giant stop at the town of Mondo along the way. I got some unpacking, but let's hear what Murray thought of Bullet Train.
What the hell happened to Channing Tatum?
I know.
That's all I want to know.
I know, right?
That's all I got.
Everything else was delicious.
This film was so much fun to watch. Like, so much fun. It's very seldom you get a movie where you actually don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
Like, every new character is introduced. You think they're a certain person, but they're not. They're somebody else.
Yeah.
And you're still, like, towards the end, you're still waiting for that one certain person they keep talking about, and you don't know who it is. It's like, I wasn't lost, but Jim and I were basically the whole movie. It's like, what's going to happen now? Like, who's that guy? Like, and we were like near the front row. I'm sure we know the hell out of people behind us, but we didn't care.
We didn't care. We were having too much fun.
Yeah. Well, you have your Channing Tatum. I have my Brad Pitt.
It's
Gotta
true.
say, little man crush on him. Before there was Ryan Reynolds, there was Brad Pitt.
It's true.
That is true. Yeah. No, it was nonstop action and didn't know what was going to happen next. It was just a thrill ride the whole time. And yeah, I mean, when one guy jumps onto a moving bullet train, I'm like, that was
and hung on too.
Fetched.
I think when that happened in the movie, I actually said, if this was a Tom Cruise movie, that would actually be really happening
of course,
right now.
And it wouldn't be a stuntman. It
would be Tom Cruise.
But Aaron Johnson is a worthy adversary. I loved everything about this movie. Absolutely mondo.
So you know what that means, Murray?
Yes. Are you ready for it?
We're ready. This hasn't happened this year yet.
The trifecta.
Mondo! Mondo! Mondo!
Nice. So apparently, this is a pretty fucking good movie.
It is.
I really enjoyed it. I haven't seen a movie in a long time where it doesn't lose momentum.
Yeah.
Ever.
At all.
No.
Yeah.
From the start to the finish, there's no point that drags even for a second.
No.
And it's just, and that's why it's so shocking that I liked it as much because there is a lot going on.
I did mention a few annoying features for sure.
But the fact that there was a couple things, but who cares? It's just so much fun.
Yeah. And obviously some of the things that I wanted to unpack was the children's anime cartoon that kept coming on. I was just like, it's just so Japanese bullet train. Like you'd imagine this is going to happen so many times,
and
right?
what's his name's obsession with Thomas the Tank.
Yeah, I know. It's fascination with the same thing too is that who's going to die? Like it was
everything I know about people by watching Thomas the Tank.
You know what? But the analogies were so true.
They were so spot on.
They were so true. He nailed every single person too, and their right character.
Were just, I was like, I didn't read who was in this beforehand. I was pleasantly surprised by some of the cameos.
And you know what was cool about, there was a lot of good gore in this too. Yeah. And the creative ways that they killed people. Like it had some really cool ways that people died in this, which if they kind of did the same thing all the time, it's kind of like, you know what, that was dumb.
Bullet to the head.
Yeah, they put in it all these different creative things with the comedy and the writing and the action and like the whole thing with Brad Pitt's Zen. It was just like he's like you expect him to be like himself in California. He's like,
no, he's totally chill. You stabbed me?
Yeah.
He was totally surprised by that.
Dude, I don't even know you.
How would you stab me?
Or those scene what they show in the commercial where he's like drinking the bottle of
water
of Voss or whatever it is.
Yeah, and he throws it at the guy.
Yeah, this is a movie everybody should see.
It's a fun movie. Definitely not for the kiddies though, but
I think they could have edited 10 minutes out though.
I don't know. I thought it was just long enough.
Didn't need it.
It was like 2 hours.
But they could have.
Why?
I think it was under 2 hours.
Everything just
it was over 2
went
hours.
around.
Maybe just barely.
At a clip. Was it over 2 hours?
Yeah.
It did not seem like that.
I
have no idea how long it was.
It was over 2 hours.
I thought
it might have been like.
I don't think I looked at my watch.
5 minutes.
No, I thought it was like
40 minutes.
90-minute movie. I thought for sure.
Yeah.
No,
I'm actually surprised that you just said it was over 2 hours.
It was closer to 2. But I don't think it was over by much. But anyway.
That thing.
Didn't look at my watch because I didn't want to take my eyes off the screen.
So what you're saying is Bullet Train felt super fast.
It was super fast.
It was 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Really?
Lightly.
That's
really,
surprising.
really,
7
really.
minutes, but like 5 minutes of that was credits. So.
Yeah, I love the credits.
I know.
The credits were also good.
Actually, the credits were great
time
with
was
the
like
ladybugs crawling over the screen.
Yeah.
And I didn't get creeped out by the bugs. I like ladybugs. They're cute. All right. Well, we also got to see a movie called The Duke, which is a period piece biopic, which usually don't excite me, as you all know. But apparently, if it's a period piece biopic made in the UK, then there is an 84.5% chance that it will be great.
British comedy.
Well, at least based on the last year's numbers that I ran to look up all the...
We saw quite a few, and they're all pretty darn good.
They're all pretty damn good. So there's an 84.5% chance if it's a period piece biopic made in the UK, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, the Brits don't let me down very often.
Helen Mirren and Jim Broadbent, or as I like to say, British Richard Jenkins, are always brilliant, and this film is no exception. This is very, 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 very British, and very, 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 very period piece. You really feel like you're in 1960s Birmingham. The dialogue, atmosphere, and direction all feel like a 70s film all the way through this film. The writing felt real and the characters felt natural. It did not really drag at all until about the middle. But then you think to yourself, Jim Broadbent's in this. And his portrayal of this wacky activist, how could you not be in love with this cute little guy? Through the draggy parts, I almost started to think the film was maybe a little too long. But like a great dramatic family dynamic film, it hit me hard a few times at the end and had me in tears a couple of times. So you all know what that means. So because of the great characters and my emotional meter going to crybaby, here's another British period piece biopic that gets a Mondo.
There you go. Well, you know what I loved about it?
What?
Yorkshire.
The pudding or the town?
The northern half of England.
Oh, right.
Which I am quite familiar with, having been there several times to visit relatives. So
nice.
I love the countryside, and I love the northern, because it's definitely way different than, say, London. Like, Londoners are just rude.
They're just Londoners.
But Yorkshires, they're just so nice. Like, I never had a problem with anybody there. But yeah, I loved that it was set there, and it was produced by Yorkshire Movies or whatever their company is. And yeah, Broadbent and Mirren were amazing. It was definitely a period piece. And I had to look it up later. It's like, yeah, British people still pay to own televisions. Like, if you own a television, you still have to buy a license to watch BBC.
That's crazy.
Which is weird. And it's well, what did I see? It was like £150
Yeah, I think that's what you said, yeah.
A year. That's
a lot of money.
That's like 3 times as much as a subscription to any kind of streaming service.
Okay, here's the question. Did you look this up? Because
No,
does that include, because they have all those BBC One, BBC
yeah,
Two,
there's like 5 of
BBC
them,
Three,
but yeah,
BBC Four,
you gotta pay for all of them.
BBC 7, BBC Heaven.
ITV and Yorkshire Television are free.
Yeah, so it makes you wonder, is that all they pay to get BBC television?
But back then in the 60s when he was fighting all this, it was
a
couple of pounds a year.
It
wasn't a whole lot. But yeah, like his point, seniors can't afford it. So they can't afford to have a TV. Like, that's stupid. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to give it a Mondo too.
Look at you.
I was going to go mad.
You little softy.
I enjoyed it. I like my British comedy.
And who doesn't love Jim Broadbent in this?
So
like, he's just too lovable.
So that's a Mondo from Jim.
Yes.
And a Mondo from Murray.
That is correct.
All right.
Guy who saw it like 3 years ago.
Now, did you?
What does he think?
Yeah, what do you think? You've seen this like 7 years ago when it was before it was actually put out
Before
into.
it was even
No,
produced.
I saw it a while ago because I'd given up that it was ever going to come into theaters. But then I rewatched it. The Duke was another masterclass in acting from Dame Helen Mirren and Jim Broadbent. Simple true story that felt so familiar, yet I knew nothing about this tale going in.
Yeah.
It is an understated movie with clever writing. This is a story of Kempton Button, played by Broadbent, who steals a portrait of the Duke of Wellington and holds it ransom in hopes of getting the government to invest more care for the elderly and for free television. Although at its heart, this was more about the love story between Kempton and Lilia, played by Mirren. It was immensely enjoyable watching Mirren and Broadbent do what they do. I could watch those two on screen in almost anything. I say almost, as remember, Mirren was in The Good Liar.
Yeah, she's been in a few duds.
She was also in both Reds.
Yes, she was.
Oh, I loved her in that.
She was great in that. But
She was awesome in that.
yeah.
This was another breezy true tale from England. It was a funny and well-acted meh.
There you go. You know what? If I hadn't cried twice, it probably would only got to meh for me. But that, like, literally, that is my meter. if it can draw out of me the emotion that the film is intended to do, then it hit its mark. I can't deny it. My senses are not going to lie to me. And it's the reason why I didn't give with the one we talked about last week, Amando, because I didn't get there.
There you go.
Which one was that?
Ali and Ava.
Oh yeah.
Which
No, I didn't get there either.
I thought it was great.
fantastic.
No,
But
I didn't get there either.
It was Mondo.
it was meh. But that's not the movie we're talking
and
about.
the Duke was meh.
Nah, no, it was too good. We need to talk about Mirren later on, by the way.
No,
just
we
so we
don't.
know. Yeah, we do.
Okay,
I
well,
don't
we
know why
will,
she-
but
I don't
there's
know
no
why
point
she's not
to
on
it.
more lists.
Is there?
But
Yeah, there's no point to any of it, but we'll talk about that when we get to it.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, we will.
We're going to.
Oh,
I know we're
it's,
going
it's
to.
coming up.
Oh, it's on.
It's almost.
ding, ding,
It's
ding.
almost now, but not quite.
Not quite. Alrighty. Well, to celebrate the Mondo that was Bullet Train, here are my favorite Brad.
Oh, I thought you were going to say your favorite Bullet Train movies.
Is there more than one? First up is the one everyone knows that he won his Oscar for, Once Upon a Time in Hollywywood.
California?
I think he absolutely stole that movie. I think he was way better than Leo was, and his character was awesome. It was just awesome.
I will grant you, I loved him in that
And he
movie.
beat the crap out of the Manson family.
If
So
only the
there you
movie
go.
was good.
And Bruce Lee.
And Bruce Lee.
And
too.
Bruce Lee,
Oh no,
too.
that was a tie.
It was a tie.
Second
Was
up,
it?
Yeah, it kind of was.
All right.
Second up is Moneyball. I don't even like baseball, and I love this movie. I also don't like Jonah Hill, but he was also good in it.
He was fantastic.
He was skinny Jonah Hill,
Plus,
No, he was still
not
fat
forget
Jonah Hill.
Pitt's
Oh.
CLF daughter in this, who was, freaking adorable, but with her floppy peppermint patty hair.
Yeah, I don't even
liked
remember
her.
her.
too. Patties. I love patties.
She played music a lot.
Mm.
Next up, Fight Club.
Fight
Fight
Club.
Club.
So
Can't stand Ed Norton.
Love
Watching
Ed Norton.
him getting punched in the face was awesome.
I love Edward Norton.
He's the
Then
best.
you got
Second
Glorious Bastard.
That's true. Ben Affleck's
Nazi
better.
skull cracking at its finest.
Channing Tatum. Channing Tatum's
Channing
better.
Tatum. There you go. And number 5, Burn After Reading.
Also amazing.
Oh, good.
So
It's
good.
So good. And that was we just have to pause on that moment because that was a pinnacle moment in film rage history. We could not get a Mesmerized off.
Like 5 different
There was like
people.
5 of them in that movie.
Yeah.
That's how, because it was that good.
Yeah.
Next up, a little known one called The Spy Game. Redford versus Pitt. Dynamic duo. Loved it.
That's right. They were a dynamic duo.
Well, they kind of worked together.
Did they wear tights in that movie?
They did.
They were spies.
They had capes.
Nice.
One of them wore a mask.
And finally, number 7, because of 7, Interview with the Vampire. Cruise was better, but it's still my favorite vampire book / movie of all time.
Okay.
I hate
So,
that
yes,
movie.
I love me some
I like
Brad
it
Pitt.
700 times more than the movie Twilight.
As do I.
His Interview with a Vampire pales in comparison to
Yeah.
Twilight.
Okay, listeners who are listening right now,
Who aren't
please
14.
tell us, if you're not a 13-year-old girl, which movie is better, Interview with a Vampire or Twilight?
Okay, we'll just wait while they add it up.
That's right. I'm waiting. Wait, we're not recording this. Like, we're not broadcasting this live, are we? Okay, we got to
I
wait
don't
to
think
find
it's
out.
live,
We need to find out the answer for that later.
That's true.
Stay tuned for next week.
I hate
week.
Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah, well, you're
I
the
hate
minority,
Twilight.
buddy. So do I.
All right. Was that?
Temperature rising,
Just cut you right off.
vision blurring, rage taking over.
Not messing around tonight.
Yeah. We can't tell our listeners why, but there is a secret that is brewing in this room, and it pertains to Murray's bowels.
Oh, gee, thanks for that.
Oh, sorry, did I just spoil the secret?
Don't think it's a secret any longer.
No, apparently not.
Okay.
The bigger thing is some of us have to work in the morning.
That's true.
Not
And
me.
it's like practically midnight here.
Yes, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning.
So my rage this week is really, 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 really simple.
Yeah.
Why don't we get enough period piece biopics from the UK? That's my rage.
Okay.
Like,
They're
apparently
they're pretty good.
Apparently, they're made in other places,
Yeah.
and I don't understand why anybody would make one. Because if I had to go on the other side of it to say, of all the period piece biopics that I've seen, I would say it's reverse on that. Instead of it being 84.5% good, they're 84.5% terrible.
Right.
And so if you were going to go, if you lived in the US or Canada or, I don't know, another English speaking country, Australia or New Zealand or somewhere else that speaks English fluently, and you were going to make a period piece biopic, why would you even make the effort? Why would you just not call the production houses in the UK and say, you know what? I hear you're 84.5% going to be a go that. But instead, people are still trying to make movies that are terrible. And it's like, just don't make the movie that's terrible. Just go to the people who make it best, and they will do it for you. That's my rage.
Okay.
Go to UK to make period piece biopics.
Fair enough.
So Elvis should have been a UK production.
I don't even want to talk about Elvis
Just saying.
because I have PTSD from that movie.
I know. Can't wait to see it again. It's coming on Crave soon.
Ugh. I can't wait till I get earworms and
Earworms.
All right, my rage this week is that it took almost a year for The Duke to come out, as it was supposed to hit the theaters in September of 2021 in North America. And then it finally gets released in Canada, and it is playing once a day on one screen with the hundreds of screens that are available in our fair city of Calgary. That's my rage.
yeah, it's kind of like if we had to sum up all your rages into one rage, this is somewhat kind of your biggest rage, is that we just don't get, and it's not just Calgary.
No, I know.
It's actually
everywhere.
we are in the summer, and we should be getting not just the terrible movies. Like I'm looking for next week, and I'm thinking there isn't really one that I want to see. So I'm like,
Summer's over.
it's like, can we not put out more content instead of just having to go to streaming? Like, it's like we now got to fight with streaming services to find our content, but we want to see movies in cinema. So you're right. Why was this not brought out? And maybe it was when they looked at the month of release of last year. Maybe they looked across the world and they went, there is only 2 cinemas open in the entire world. So we'll just...
No. To September 2021, things were toning down by then. But,
What about that?
well, they picked up again here.
Yeah, I don't think Toronto even had cinemas open.
Fact of the matter was, it was all of North America, and there was a lot of months between September and now. It's been a year.
It's true.
And there's no reason why this couldn't have been released early. There were so many weeks where we were desperate for movies to come out.
Like January, February, and March of this year.
And this would have fit the bill. This would have been a perfect movie to release in so many weeks this year.
And you might have been...
And it gets buried at the end of the summer, and it gets released in Calgary on one stinking screen, and they play it once a day.
Yeah, so it was like 2 o'clock during the day when you are working.
Yeah, and it's like it's at 2 o'clock the one day, it's at 9 o'clock the next day, it's at 7 o'clock. It's like, it's got to be, like, this is the type of movie that deserves to be seen. It was a meh for me, but it was still a good movie.
I bet
much better than 90% of the stuff that's playing right now.
I bet you if it would have came out in February, this would have been a mondo. Because you were so deprived from anything good in February that you would have saw this and went, this is the best thing I've seen in 6 months.
It's not out of the realm of possibilities, but I still think it would have been a meh. But who knows? That's my rage.
All right, then.
Rage subsiding. Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
Hey there, this is Frankie Sparks.
And this is Scott Eisenberg.
We're married.
And we have a podcast called Shoot the Flick.
Every week, Scott and I introduce each other to a new movie the other one has never seen. We talk about it, give our thoughts on it, and also share some behind-the-scenes fun facts.
We want you guys to come along and enjoy the movies with us.
Check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Shoot the Flick, and check out our weekly episodes every single Wednesday on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and pretty much anywhere else you can find a podcast.
Come and listen to us now as Frankie and I
Shoot the Flick!
And you're going to get to hear in an upcoming episode of Shoot the Flick, Bryce and I talking about a movie that could possibly be the biggest rage that has ever happened.
Ugh.
And it didn't even appear on Film Rage.
That's seeing a lot.
It is. But it's not because, like, when we talk about a movie, if we've talked 15 minutes about a movie, that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
We talked for an hour and a half about one movie, and that's almost as long as the movie was.
Yeah. Oh.
Get if you want rage, people, make sure you're listening to Shoot the Flick when Film Rage appears. You will not be disappointed. All right. Well, the wait has been coming for, I think, an entire week, but we are talking about the lists. So for those of you who are not familiar with the list, and it's maybe your first time listening to our podcast, go to our website at filmrageyyc.com and check out the lists tab. And on that, you will hear Bryce say something right now.
What?
What's Bryce gonna say?
I wasn't even listening. What are you talking about?
Wasn't listening.
So you will see 4 different categories of actors-directors. We have the mesmerized, we have the doubted, the undoubted, and the repulsive.
Yeah, so go to the website. Check it out.
Check it out and
you
read
gotta
all
do
the
is
rules.
Click on it, read on the rules.
There you go. See, you're already up to speed, and you just had to listen for a second.
Yeah. So,
We are talking about
Elves.
Murray had brought forward to us last week the movie Notes on a Scandal,
which I had never seen.
I also had
Or
never
had
seen.
I.
And, if I had to say one thing about this movie,
Yeah.
why have I not seen this movie? It was awesome.
It was okay.
I loved this movie.
It had,
If I had to say one thing about this movie-
had pacing problems. for me.
But I like you know what? It was so... The content of this movie is so uncomfortable to watch.
It's
Yeah.
very rapid fire.
Yeah.
I'll give you
The
that.
word I
It's
use
boom,
is
boom, boom, boom.
creepy.
It's
This was a
cringe-inducing.
creepy film.
So you got to see it then, Mur.
Yeah, I rented it.
Nice.
On
Choppy.
demand.
It was very
It's
choppy.
but you know what? I didn't mind it because it was so cringe-inducing to watch this movie that I'm just like, it was so well done because I was entirely creeped out by it, which made it couldn't have been anything but a mondo for me.
So you're giving Notes on a Scandal, mondo.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely love this
Oh, I thought
movie.
we were rating it.
Yeah, we're gonna rate it. What would you
I
give
thought we
it?
were just gonna talk about.
No.
I wouldn't say the whole movie was a mondo.
I wouldn't say any of it was.
I would say Judi Dench was absolutely mondo.
Okay.
Yep.
And I would say it was meh.
So it was a meh for you then, Mer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I also agree with you about Judi Dench. So,
I mean, if she was on our list, it wouldn't even been close.
all right. So this
Well,
poses, but this
That's
actually
the thing, 'cause
this actually poses a
she was
question.
in the movie.
Yes,
Yeah,
and we have 2 mesmerizing off,
Yeah.
and I want to put this forward. We've talked about this in the past. Judi Dench out mesmerized the 2 of them.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but we also talked about the fact that if we have someone that's not going to say we're going to
No,
put
no.
Judi Dench on
Okay.
it.
Yeah. No, I'm already on board that. I think this conversation. You think Judi Dench was the most mesmerizing person in this film,
Absolutely.
Yes, as do I.
as do you, as do I. Which means they're all gone.
Yes,
Okay with that.
unless
So
we
Bill
actually
Nighy-
decide to put Judi Dench on the.
No, we can't because she's off because she's been out mesmerized already.
There you go.
So everybody's gone.
Everybody's gone.
Because she can't come back on.
Yeah,
Once
that's
you're
true.
off, you've already been
I forgot
out
we took her
mesmerized.
off. Why do you remember what we took her
I
off
can't
for?
remember who it was, but somebody
Yes,
else.
I do remember.
Yeah.
You know what? I think it was actually Bill Nighy.
It might have been Bill Nighy.
But you know what? That's the rule.
That's
you
the
have
rule.
to always. Here's the thing, people. If you're listening to us,
So
we get passionate
just before
about
we
this.
go any further, we never did say exactly. It was Bill Nighy versus Cate Blanchett
Yes.
to see who was the most mesmerized in this movie.
Yes.
The unfortunate thing for both of them is that Dame Judi Dench was also in this movie
That's right.
and blew them out of the water.
It wasn't even a competition.
Wasn't even close.
And they are both now gone.
Yes.
The unfortunate thing is that Judi Dench was already on the mesmerized list
And
once
was
upon a
gone
time,
before.
and she was out mesmerized.
Yes.
Which means she can't come back on.
It's true.
Which means this was a total slaughter. Everybody's
And-
gone.
and, you
Everybody's
know-
off mesmerized forever.
But here's the thing. Everybody has to realize
Yes.
who are listening to us.
Yes.
To be mesmerizing. And you know
Yes.
what? We talk about some of our favorite actors that to us personally, they may be like our favorite actor and we want to go see that movie.
Mm-hmm.
In the Mesmerized, you have to be mesmerizing in every single thing that you're in to be considered mesmerizing. And we have lost some heavyweights on this. We've lost Christopher Walken
Yep.
just recently. We now lost Bill Nighy. We lost Dev Patel just the other week because he was a dump fest in that film. Like you cannot you know. The reason we put these people on to begin with is because we, in our minds, we're like, these people are mesmerizing. And
they are, but
In certain-
when
in
they
some
butt
movies.
heads, one's got to be more mesmerizing than the other, and
I mean, there's times where we've been torn, right?
yeah. But there was this time there were three of us that saw this movie, and unfortunately, Bill Nighy and Cate Blanchett, neither of them made the cut. Just curious, Mur,
Yeah.
who did you like better between Nighy and Blanchett?
Blanchett.
Yeah,
No, I wasn't in it long enough.
there you go.
He was in it for 5 minutes though,
Yeah, he was
so
more than
he
5 minutes,
qualified for 5 minutes.
But yeah, he was in very few
I would
scenes,
I
and
would
it
tend
was
to agree with
mostly-
Murray on this.
it was
I
two
would
of
say
them.
Bill. Although you know what, they both had their speech
Yep.
where Nighy lost his shit and
Yep.
and she actually had a scene.
I thought, yeah.
I think both scenes were pretty equal. It was leaning a little bit towards Nighy, but Blanchett had too many other good
Blanchett-
And
scenes.
I would have gone
Blanchett
Nighy.
had to act against Judi Dench. Bill Nighy, for the most part, was just in
Yeah,
family scenes.
But he did. There wasn't a couple emotional scenes.
There was a
with
couple
him.
of scenes, but I mean, Blanchett had the bigger scenes. Obviously.
and none of it mattered because
I like
Judi
her.
Dench.
Judi Dench destroyed
took-
them.
She
took everybody
Oh,
out, and she's not even on the list.
That is so true. Okay, so I said let's talk about Helen Mirren. She's never been on our Mesmerized list before.
Hasn't
Well,
she?
Since you guys hated the Red movies, I'm pretty sure she
No,
was.
I didn't hate the Red movies.
Here's the
He
thing
hated
with
the Red
Helen
movies.
Mirren. As wonderful as she was in The Duke, I'm still leaning Broadbent there. So if you want to have a conversation,
Okay, so should we talk
but
Broadbent too then?
if you're saying Mirren was more mesmerizing
Then-
than Broadbent, then it's
then-
all a wash and nobody gets on.
Well, or
What's the or?
as we say, they're both on, and we now got to have them on both on the list.
No, you can't have them both on because they were in the same movie.
Okay, well, Murray, do you think Broadbent out mesmerized Mirren in that movie?
I felt it was pretty equal, actually.
It was a dead heat.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
didn't
so
really-
we got it. We
one
got
wasn't
to
the other.
split
They
all the
were-
way down the middle,
they were
which
just great
means that
together.
Apparently, one of them wasn't superiorly mesmerizing.
yeah.
Sad
And
because
because both now, if they were both already on the list,
they would still be on
they'd
the
still
list.
be on the list. But because
Yeah, but
they
how
weren't
is-
on the list,
How is that not fair that we haven't brought them up before?
We didn't put them against
Life's
each other.
not
They weren't
fair.
on the mesmerizing.
Life's not-
They were just
life's
in a
not
movie.
fair.
It's not
Well,
fair.
we may see them in another movie and go, wow, they really are mesmerizing. At that point, it's just one of them. So then we can add them, and then we can go back and say, well, this one actually tied. So
Oh, then I'll just go back and watch the good
Red
Thief
movie?
or whatever the heck it is, and I'm
And
sure
she
there's
was-
some
yeah.
supporting actor in there that was better than her. And
you know what? You don't even. You know what? You've literally just turned my stomach because that movie was so awful.
so
She
awful
doesn't
that-
deserve to be on the Mesmerized
I'm sorry.
list.
It's,
Yeah. It's as you call it,
she's
a
a
Kevin.
vic-
She's
she's
been
a-
Kevin Spacey done that.
she's a victim of her own choices.
That's right. Did you get to see that movie, Murray?
Which one?
The Good Thief.
The good
No.
thief.
It's.
I think it was a streaming thing.
If you can imagine Liam Neeson making a movie with Helen Mirren.
Wasn't it, what's his name?
It
Old
was
dude?
Jonathan Price.
No,
it
the
was.
old dude. The old dude from
who the heck was it?
Gandalf.
Yeah, it was Ian
it was
McKellen.
It
Gandalf.
was the Gandalf.
It was
yeah.
it was the Gandalf.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, I
That's
didn't
who it
watch it.
was.
And you know what? I love him.
Yeah, I love him too, and he was terrible.
He's now
in
been
this.
destroyed by that movie.
Yeah, that movie destroyed two
I'm sure the
superior actors.
Billions he made from the Lord of the Rings movies, he's just crying.
It always comes down to money with you, Murren. I never understand
just
that.
saying.
Money doesn't mean
Money doesn't mean dick.
Yeah, but
except-
actors, for the most part, make money. They make movies to make money, and if they're rolling in bank, they don't give a crap what you think of their movies.
I think they do.
I think they do.
Because Ryan Reynolds still is embarrassed by that movie he made, Green Snotball or whatever
Green
it was called.
Lantern, yes.
Yeah. So I mean, he doesn't. He knows that was a bad thing, and he made a shit ton of money. So he's embarrassed that that's a
I don't know-
mark.
I don't know about
Oh
that
no,
one.
he talks about it
I don't
regularly.
know about off that one. That one
Yeah.
didn't make a lot of money.
Oh yeah, it's
Well, it may not have, but I'm sure he did.
yeah. He made a shit ton of money to do that movie.
They all do things when they're younger.
Okay, you can't have it both ways, man.
You gotta pay the bills, dude.
All of a sudden, you're like making an opposite argument. I don't
No,
understand.
it's like people do stuff to make money.
Let's move on.
That's the hard fact of the film industry.
And you know what? We're gonna judge them because they did,
These
I know.
pretzels are making me thirsty.
and they're gonna be judged because of it.
Sure thing, Jerry.
That's right. All right, I guess we have. Oh, do you have what we're seeing next week, Mark?
Yeah, I picked one out.
It doesn't have Helen Mirren
it does
or
not.
Jim Broadbent or Cate Blanchett.
As far as I know, there are no English people in this one.
Okay.
This is a Philip off.
A what?
Whoa, I like
Well,
Philip.
you said Philip Seymour Hoffman,
Yeah.
so I went through his movies,
Nice.
and I couldn't find one that he was with anybody else in the list on. And I
Except
came up with one. Boogie Nights.
nice.
Philip Seymour Hoffman and Philip
Baker
Baker
Hall.
Hall.
Oh yes.
They both had about the same amount of screen time, as far as I can tell.
Right on.
Yes.
I'm digging it.
Yeah,
There
this
you
is
go.
gonna be
This
a
is making me
a
happy.
Philip. This is gonna be a Philip. This is gonna fill up my soul.
I'm sorry, what was that movie? Just kidding.
Plus, it was a movie that Burt Reynolds should have won an Oscar for.
And it's the one that we got to see Marky Mark's fake penis.
Yes.
More importantly,
And
I don't know that that's
other-
important at all.
And some female body parts.
that's right.
Huh.
Just saying.
I don't
Right.
know.
Well,
And
stay
William
tuned.
H. Macy's in it too. Is he still on our list?
No, Kevin Spacey
Oh,
can
hell
never be.
no.
This is.
William H. Macy.
Oh, William H
William
Macy.
Macy. Probably not.
Yeah, I think he
but
got knocked out.
I can't remember.
I'd have to look
If
that
he
one
is,
up,
we'll
but
find out. Stay tuned next week, people.
Stay tuned.
It could be a Philip Hoff with a Macy.
With a Macy.
With a side of-
With a
Macy
chaser,
side of Macy.
chaser of
Macy
Macy.
sandwich. That's right.
Ew.
Delicious.
Last week on Rage or Dare, both Bryce and Jim decided to rage from the merman's oh-so-tasty ice creamy bucket of rage. Apparently, there really was a film from 2002 called Sorority Boys, even though none of the crew believed it actually existed. This week, yes, Bryce, it is you, and you alone, who gets to choose to rage or dare. And no, you can't have the week off. Yeesh, what a whiner. And yes, I can see that pouty look on your face. For I am everywhere. I am Casey, the great and powerful, and you cannot escape my sight. Now let's check in with the boys and see if a movie that sounds like White Chicks but with white dudes, but in college, which also seems to be Three's Company sketch stretched into an hour and 33-minute movie, is as stupid as it sounds, or is this a movie they are regretting they didn't see in cinemas in 2002? Something tells me it's stupid, but who am I? Oh yes, the great and powerful Casey.
Okay, he has way too much fun with that.
It's literally the best.
I'm pretty sure that it's not my turn this week.
Why do you not get this? You get 1 week off every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Do the math.
And I never get a week off.
Who did it last week? It was
both
me.
did it.
No, I did it last week. This week, we're both doing it. So next week is you.
I think
The math is the math.
I think
You
you're
get
wrong.
1 week off every
I'm gonna
3
look
weeks.
into this. I mean, I'll play along and choose a movie and everything, but I'm gonna go look into this. 'Cause I think you're
you
wrong.
know how easy it is for me to look into
Okay,
this?
go ahead.
that's
Look
not-
into it.
Okay, well, while you're talking about Sorority Boys, I am literally going to bitch slap you with our website.
Sorority Boys. I'm not gonna talk long about it because it
What?
it was Sorority Boys. Because Sorority Boys was a waste of time. I enjoyed some of the Harland Williams bits. It does get a few points for the dildo catapult. That is something I'd not seen before. The rest of the movie, however, was utterly forgettable. It needed to lean all the way in on its attempts at crudeness. It seemed to stop a little short as to try not to offend, which made for a pretty lame movie. Still, it had Harland Williams and a dildo catapult. So it was meh. Nah, it was still a rage.
Of course it was.
I know my stuff.
Oh, yeah, baby. Well, fraternity suspense comedy films, do they still make these in 2002?
Yep.
Some movie genres don't hold up so well. But not these genre masterpiece. Misogyny-laced frat films with TNA and hyper cornball comedy that has never been done before. The best 13-year-old boy comedy jokes and rated R film. Yeah, I sure wish I could have seen this when I was 13. 13 years old. The movies I snuck into, the films I thought were funny when I was 13 years old. Harlan Williams, though, is always so funny.
So it's
And this has the whole Porky's factor all frat movies wish for. Well, actually, it was a little bit more like a Porky's 3 vibe, a.k.a. Porky's Revenge. The music, though, was amazing, including songs by The Cars, Whale, The Rascals, Neil Diamond, Urge Overkill, The Knack, Archie's, Kool and the Gang, The Four Tops. All this and a great message about not being a dick to women. So yeah, it was awesome. The soundtrack and the movie... No, it's just the soundtrack. That's right. The soundtrack was awesome. The movie, however, was stupid, idiotic, predictable, and nothing original that any Animal House, Porky sequel, or Revenge of the Nerds didn't show us before, only a lot worse. Harlan Williams and the soundtrack were mondo, but the movie was a terrible, stink-filled pile of already seen a million times before, formulaic, predictable, awful, vomit-inducing crapfest of stupidity with a little bit of TNA for good times. So it's a mondo. No, sorry. It's a rage. But Harlan Williams and a great soundtrack were mondo.
yeah, Harlan Williams.
It was
is
completely awful.
great. It was so bad.
Why couldn't they just had Harlan
It's
Williams
funny,
in a
you're-
movie?
You're like Harlan Williams and the soundtrack, and I'm like Harlan Williams and the dildo catapult. That's what.
But didn't you love the soundtrack? It was awesome.
It was okay.
It was pretty awesome.
It was pretty good.
Okay, need I remind you?
I heard of the soundtrack. I heard you also list all the bands off.
Well,
I know.
it was just because I wanted to talk more about how great that soundtrack
The
was.
soundtrack's good. Let's find Sorority Boys the soundtrack on Spotify or
I may be listening to
Apple Tunes.
Sorority Boys soundtrack on my way home
Or what are the
tonight.
other ones? Music Masters or Musicahola.
Or YouTube
iTunes.
party
I-
list.
Apple Tunes.
Apple iTunes,
Yeah.
Apple
all that.
iTunes.
something, all that stuff.
Yeah. Find it on there.
Yeah, okay.
You do
It's
that.
on.
Do that.
All right. So I guess Bryce gets to take from my... Actually, I think you have to take from my bag this week.
Why?
Well, okay, so here's the proof in the pudding of your whiny bitch self. I'm going
I chose
backwards
from
in
the fan
time.
bag
So we
last
literally just watched Sorority Boys.
time? Yeah.
Last week, I had to watch Hero and the Terror.
Oh, yeah. That was
And the week
Chip
before that,
Yeah.
Bryce watched Texas Rangers.
That
The
was
week before that was Elektra, which we both watched.
Okay,
The
Texas
week
Ra-
before that was Highlander Endgame, which I watched.
Okay, so all we got to do is look at Texas Rangers, though. Where did I choose that from? Was that the fan bag?
You chose that. Oh, no. You chose it from my bag.
Yeah.
I was trying to get you to choose again from my bag.
Yeah.
You get to rage or dare.
I'm gonna go fan bag.
All right. Fun bag it is.
Because I don't really feel like raging this weekend. I know they're gonna give me something good.
They usually do.
And I don't understand why. They just don't get it. But that's all right. It's to my benefit. Although the fact that I have to watch a good movie makes me rage because, they
It's
don't
not
get
the
it.
intent.
Okay, did this get released in theaters? I don't think it did.
Okay, let's find out. What is it?
The Hottie and the Naughty.
Doesn't sound like it.
I think it's a Paris Hilton movie.
You had a pretty good guess,
That's probably
actually.
right.
And I'm pretty sure Paris Hilton always gets released in cinemas.
I don't know that that's true.
Well, let me tell you the box office for this.
All right.
Opening weekend was $27,696.
That was
The
just her and
gross,
her friends.
wait, the gross
Yeah.
was $27,696. But the worldwide gross was a whopping $1.596 million.
What?
So internationally, this movie did really, really, really well. I also have to remind you that as far as every Rage or Dare film that we've ever had on this podcast, it has literally the lowest IMDb rating of all of them.
1.9
It's got a 1.9.
out of 10.
Out of
1.9.
And it did, in fact.
It was Paris Hilton, right?
Yeah, you were 100% right bang on. And,
Is there anybody else in it that could make me think that maybe it's going to be okay
Joel
for a
David
minute or two?
Moore,
Don't know who
Christine Larkin,
that is. Okay.
Jonathan Erb, Adam Kuhlbersch, Greg Romero Wilson.
I don't know who these people
Really,
are.
nobody I know.
I think these are her friends.
Must be.
Aaron
I
Cardillo,
know Christine.
Who wrote
Samantha Bailey,
wrote it?
Tom Putman.
Tom Putman?
No,
Putnam.
No, it was written by
Putnam.
Heidi.
Oh, he
somebody or
directed
other.
it. Sorry, you're right.
Heidi
It was Heidi Ferrer, who also,
What else did she write?
Probably in it, probably.
Anything good?
she wrote Princess, the TV movie, The Hottie and the Naughty,
Yeah.
Roger Corman Presents Black Scorpion TV series,
Okay.
Wasteland TV series,
Uh-huh.
Dawson's Creek TV series.
Oh.
I'm just reading some of the reviews. One of them said, "Why would you do this to people?"
All right, so I'm going to watch The Hottie and the Naughty.
You can find it.
You are. Oh, people, you know what? This has been the happiest day of my life.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks, the Extended Film Rage family, who you can find in our show notes. Thanks to Casey from the nerdy photographer, the voice of our Rage or Dare. Listen in more frequently because we're going to have Casey on our show soon. Get ready for a full Casey load in your ears. Find us everywhere on social media at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. We're always wanting to make this a raging blast for all listeners, so please comment, like, subscribe, or send us an email to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare us to see terrible movies to fuel our rage as much as the Hottie and the Naughty is going to do next week. But no matter what you do, please, 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 make us rage. That's it for this week. Rage on.
Rage on.